Hi, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode dedicated to my 12 favorite live albums. I adore the live medium. I believe that a artist who performs live and who is able to capture an audience, to give everything that they have, is just absolutely magical because it's in the moment. It either works or it doesn't. You have to do with what you have. And today, no exception, with an incredible star, Natalie Cole, with her fabulous double album, Natalie Live. I love this album cover, Natalie Live, exclamation mark, and you can see that she's just giving everything. She's so powerful on that picture. And what is incredible is that this album is coming at the beginning of Natalie Cole's career. And generally, they make live albums when they're really established. Now, Natalie Cole had been on a winning streak like nothing. Her solo first debut album is called Inseparable. It was a #1 hit, and she won Grammys. And she didn't win any Grammys. She won the Grammys that Aretha Franklin always won for many, many consecutive years. And it was called the Aretha Award. And she broke the streak, and she then made incredible albums. And Natalie Live is her 5th album in just a few years, because she really began her solo career in 75 and this is 78. But what an album she did, and it's just so powerful. Now, this album was recorded in part in Los Angeles and in part in New Jersey, but you absolutely don't feel that it's two different nights. And it's actually, part is in 77 and part is in 1978. But you absolutely don't feel this. You really feel like it's all in one evening. The sound absolutely doesn't change, and that's pretty incredible. Now, after her 4th album called Thankful, which is an amazing album with a couple of hit singles, Annie Mae, Thankful, of course, and La Costa, which I absolutely adore. And look at this album cover, it's just absolutely gorgeous. So she begins the concert with the incredible song Sophisticated Lady. And what an opening song for a sophisticated lady like Natalie Cole. And this song is partly written by Natalie Cole. Most of the songs are written by Chuck Jackson and Marvin Yancey, who were her producers and who wrote a lot of her hits from the 70s. And so the whole album has a flavor, because there's a type of style. Now, she sings other songs, and right after that she sings Que Sera, Sera, which is a tribute to her dad, and a classic song, Whatever Will Be. It's just a lovely, lovely song. And then right after, Lovers, which is the first song on the previous album, Thankful. Gorgeous, gorgeous album, which I adore. And then I'm Catching Hell, one of her songs as well. And that song really begins to give you what Natalie Cole is all about. She is born and raised in a jazz family. Her dad is, the king of suave jazz. As she would say, Ella Fitzgerald was my aunt. She was always there. And she has an edge. She's a little bit more soulful, and there's a little bit of rock. I mean, she is a younger generation. She comes afterwards. And so she knew all of this music and all of this incredible big band orchestra. But there's a little bit of the little girl who wants to come out and do her own thing. And here, in I'm Catching Hell, you really, really feel it. Mr. Melody, one of her hits from one of her previous albums, just a sweet, beautiful song, Mr. Melody. It's just absolutely gorgeous. And then her first #1 hit, This Will Be an Everlasting Love, one of my favorite songs I absolutely adore. And this was on her debut album called Inseparable, and in 1975. So this is where she began, and it's just a little while back. And here you have a huge star who is able to capture an audience in an incredible way. Party Lights is a total disco number. I loved Party Lights. It was a big hit for Natalie Cole, and it just indulges in disco. It is in syrup disco, and it's just fabulous. But what is fantastic about being able to sing disco live, it's when you have a voice like Natalie Cole, you can make it interesting, because disco is something that you have to hear when it's recorded in a studio, and it's very hard to represent it in on a live album. And she is able to give it, and she makes the audience stand up on their feet and dance like crazy, and you really feel it on the album. And it really ends the first part, if you will, of the album in an incredible way. Then she kind of disappears, and she does a little monologue where she thanks the audience, where she's just reminiscing. You really think she's singing backstage and just, you know, changing and just thinking about what she's doing. And then all of a sudden she comes out on stage with the incredible I've Got Love on My Mind. It's one of her songs, one of her hits, and she sings it in such a beautiful, beautiful way. And she has this culture of the church. One of you said to me about Patti LaBelle, she takes us to church. I love that expression, and she really does that. And you really feel her making the orchestra stop and really sing that it's love, love, love that she's got on her mind. Then the second half of the album, she takes over Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds by the Beatles, and she sings it. I just adore when someone is able to take a song and make it their own. You completely forget the original version, which is that's Lucy in the Sky. She turns this into a rock opera, and at the end of the song, the orchestra just goes crazy, stops, and she says, not rubies but diamonds, not emeralds but diamonds, not sapphires but diamonds. But she is on another planet. Now, if any of you know, Lucy Sky Diamonds stands for LSD. So it was written in that way. So it's a psychedelic song. And Natalie Cole just sings it in such a way with such power. She is fierce, and it's just absolutely incredible. She sings Inseparable, her very first #1 hit from her very first album. A charming song, Inseparable. And it's going to remind you a little bit of Unforgettable, which was another huge, huge, huge success in her career, where she became, again, another worldwide star and a phenomenon, because when she began to do her jazz tours all over the world, whether it be in France, in Japan, in Germany, in England, it was a completely a new career, because there were people who who didn't know who Natalie Cole was, and she was able to make half a dozen albums, all dedicated to jazz, and she really had an incredible career. And Inseparable kind of reminds you of that. Cry Baby, which is just a fun song where she screams and yells and sings and gives it all. And Can We Get Together Again, which kind of reminds you of the musicality of This Will Be an Everlasting Love. And it's a song that she sings to her audience. Are we going to get together again? I Can't Say No, again, from her very first album. Now, you have to remember, she only had 4 albums to show for, to sing her own material. Just a beautiful, beautiful song. I Can't Say No, If You Ask Me. They all have a bit of a jazz hint in the, if not in the music, in the words, because My Man Don't Love Me. It's that kind of writing. And then Something's Got a Hold on Me. Now, this is absolute Sunday service. This is church It's written by Etta James, and she is just absolutely giving a sermon on the mountain. It is just a wild, incredible song. You just go crazy. You have the tambourines and the organ, and it's just phenomenal. She's really, you can say that Natalie Cole is a child of Aretha Franklin. It's, beginning to learn music, jazz, church with her family, and then going into modern pop rock music. And it's that kind of a career, but she also has the talent to be able to do that. And she is absolutely brilliant. And I have to tell you that I met Natalie Cole twice, and I used to work for a fashion designer called Thierry Mugler for many, many years, and she dropped in one day and bought a few things, and she was absolutely exquisite. And when I tell you she is tall, she's a tall woman, and those green eyes like two emeralds, and a figure to die for. And she was just the sweetest and kindest and most charming person in the world. And she could tell that I was, a fan, but she, acted in the most normal way. And then I sent her a message because I was sending her clothes that had to be altered, and there was a skirt that she wasn't sure about. And then she called me on the phone, and it was very funny because to see her in person and to take care of her is one thing. But when I had her on the phone, I had her voice, and I was like, this is Natalie Cole. It's even more exciting. And it was just to tell you what time it was, because I can't remember really what year, but it was just when Holly and Ivy had come out, because I said to her, your Christmas album just came out and it's absolutely beautiful. And she said, oh, yeah, it's out in France. Oh, great. Well, I wanted to send you a copy. Be Thankful, which is a song that I absolutely adore. And it is from her. So it's the previous album, Thankful, which I think is just a fantastic album. And Our Love, beautiful, beautiful song. Our Love is just absolutely exquisite. And she finishes the concert by telling everybody that she is going to be gone for a little while because she has some business to take care of. And it's a little baby. So I think that was just absolutely charming and just lovely to end the concert with. So I can only recommend Natalie Cole Live, Natalie Live, this fabulous album from a magnificent artist who is no longer with us today, but we can appreciate the incredible talent. Look at the back cover. She's just, these women that give everything on stage. I just love it. She's barefoot and she's kicking her foot and she's barefoot. But when you realize how young she was, it's even more touching to think that she was such a diva. Diva is a good word for us, and able to hold an audience the way she does. So please give a listen to Natalie Cole Live, and I'll see you next Sunday for another one of my favorite live albums.